Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? The New Orleans Saints did announce on Wednesday that they have restructured Juwan Johnson's contract. I believe the first to have the report was Field Yates over at ESPN, so hat tip there for breaking the news. Of note, the restructure saves the Saints $3.5 million against the cap this year. So the Saints now have $5.7 million in cap space. So should they need to make a move, they have cap space. Typically, I don't think you're going to go restructure a contract like that unless you're intending to use the cap space that you've cleared. That's not a significant enough decision to make at this point, unless if you were certain that you were going to use that money and that Juwan Johnson was going to be on your roster next year and beyond. Because what restructuring this deal does also, aside from creating $3.5 million of cap space this year, is it does add $6 million of dead money to next year. And just a very quick refresher for those that aren't exactly sure, you hear us say that. Dead money is money that is going to count against your salary cap no matter what, if the player is not on the roster. So you can structure a deal to where that cap hit, if they're on the roster, can be lower based on how you pay it. Signing bonus that you spread out over years, so it's lower salary. There's ways you can structure it. But if for whatever reason that player is not on your roster, that money isn't washed off the books. That money counts against your salary cap. So if Juwan Johnson does not re-sign with the Saints next year, or for whatever reason is not a member, they trade him, whatever, he will count $6 million against the cap for 2025. That's the dead cap number. And the reason that's so relevant is because this is the thing that has hamstrung the New Orleans Saints when it comes to their ability or inability, really, to build what we all think should be a championship caliber roster, to go after high-priced free agents. It's also shown the inability to re-sign your free agents. It's why you saw Marcus Williams walk in free agency and Trey Hendrickson, because you didn't have enough cap space to make it work with these guys. Now, I understand you can't pay everybody, and you have to make decisions. They made decisions to pay Kamara and Michael Thomas and Ryan Ramczyk and Marshawn Lattimore. And I'm not saying it was a wrong decision to pay any of those guys. They were all very worthy of the deals they got. But your fiscal irresponsibility has also cost you the opportunity to re-sign your own free agents and sign other high-priced talent. For example, the New Orleans Saints this year have $42.6 million in dead cap money. To say that another way, the New Orleans Saints are paying, air quotes, have $42.6 million tied up against their roster and players that aren't on the roster. That's the 11th most in the NFL. This is also why I can continue to say, when they restructured Derek Carr, they financially bound themselves to Carr for 2 years, for better or worse, 24 and 25. You can't really off-ramp off this deal until 2026 because of the way that it's structured. And that's so disappointing. Because of that fiscal irresponsibility, it's put you in a bind. I mean, when you look at the dead cap money for the New Orleans Saints this year, I mean, Andrus Peat, like this. So here's the point, right, about restructuring deals for guys that's not going to work out. Andrus Peat this year is counting $13.6 million against the salary cap. Andrus Peat is playing for the Raiders, but he is counting $13 million against the Saints cap. Michael Thomas still isn't signed with the team, is counting $11.2 million against the Saints salary cap this year. Marcus May, total disaster of a contract. Marcus May is counting $8.1 million against the Saints cap this year. Those guys aren't on the team. Jameis, 3.3. James Hurst, who's retired. Again, he's retired. Doesn't matter. $2.2 million against the cap. Bradley Roby, 1.7. Traquan Smith, the gift that keeps on giving. Traquan cost the Saints $1 million this year against their cap because of poor contracts, poorly structured deals. I'm not saying that's the case with Juwan Johnson. I think Juwan Johnson's a good player. I think he is still a young, ascending player who I hope continues to get better, and when he can stay healthy, he's a good receiving target at tight end. Restructuring this contract saves you money this year, $3.5 million, to allow you to go spend on a free agent that you may want. The challenge, though, is if Juwan Johnson doesn't play well this year, if for some reason you move on from Juwan Johnson, he's going to cost you $6 million against your cap next year, no matter what. That's the danger of doing contracts and doing business the way the Saints do business. Because the more you keep swiping the credit card and just putting off payments to the future, the deeper you dig that hole, and it doesn't allow you the opportunity to get out. So we'll see if Juwan Johnson will be the next on a long list of overpriced players that aren't playing for the New Orleans Saints, or if this is a move that ends up paying dividends for New Orleans this year as it frees up $3.5 million for the cap space. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.